Hi, my name is Becky Marks, and this is my first tutorial of 3 on Smartboard lessons. And I'm using Activity Builder for this one. I got inspired by a YouTube video I found online, and she used it for English, but I edited the video to make it for art, since I'm an art teacher. And I'm imagining I'm teaching for my 5th grade classroom about early 20th century artists. And I would use this type of activity as an assessment, and the way it works is you have 3 headers up above in these boxes, and then you have all these sub objects and text down below, and each of these has a match. So for example, this is a Matisse painting, and I want it to be able to be accepted if they drag it over to the right one and bounce back if it's the wrong. So it's a really quick, easy way to assess your students as you go and make sure they're understanding the information. So, for example, if I go to Pablo Picasso, it'll reject it and just bounces right back. But if I go to Henri Matisse, it's going to fade in, and there's going to be a little ding to let them know that they did it right. So you can just drag these all to their correct spots, and before you know it, you know where all your students are at. So it's a really nice way just to quickly test them and make sure that they're not on track. And when you're done with the activity, you can actually click on the puzzle piece and you just click reset, and it'll put them all right back. So the way I made it is I'm going to start with a blank page, and I'm going to start by adding the background. So I'm going to set background fill, and we'll just do a nice blue. You can do whatever you want and add it to however you want. And then I'm going to start by making those headers that were there before. So the way I did that is I click on shapes, and then I click on rectangles, and I go like that. And then we click on fill, and I'm going to fill this first one with green. You can do whatever colors you want, just be mindful of what text you're going to use because you want it to match up. And then I'm going to make a couple more. So I'm going to make one more right there, about the same size. And we'll fill that one maybe with blue. And then we'll make one more about equal size, and we'll do purple for that one. And I'm going to be using black writing, so I want to make sure the purple is a little lighter. So we'll go with that. Alright, and then I'm going to click the select tool just to make sure that they're all nice and where I want them. And if you double click, you can open it up and then edit the side. And then just make these guys a little bigger. Alright, so I have my beginning boxes, and then I'm going to add the text I want to them. And do that by clicking the text tab, and you just double or click on it. And so the first one is Jean Miro. And I want to just make this as easy to read as possible, so I'm using Arial. I'm going to center the font, and then I'm going to edit the line spacing to 1, and then I'm going to remove the space. So it just is nice and centered. I'm going to put that right in the middle. And you don't even have to click on text again. You can just double click on your next place, which is kind of nice. One thing I've noticed while I've been making this is if you press a space before you press enter, which I don't really know why I tend to do that, but I do, then it offsets your centering. So just make sure that you don't add any spaces. Alright, and then we're going to center that. And then I'll just do one more for Henri. And as you'll notice, the Smart Notebook has a nice spell check setting, which I always appreciate. I've never been a good speller. Okay, we'll go down below. And there we go. So we have our boxes, and this is kind of the base of what we want to do. However, right now, if you move the green box, for example, it moves without the text, and we don't want that. So a good way to group these is to click your select button, drag a box around this, and if you press Control G, it automatically groups them for you. So now when you drag it around, they're together. So we'll do that for this as well. Control G. So that's just a nice, fast way to do that. And then I'm going to show you how to add some images and text for my ones down below. So here I did a couple. Here's my picture I want, and these are both for Jean Miro. But so I want a picture and I want text, and you'll notice I have little sound icons too. So the way that I add these, which are my sub images and subtext that I'm going to have them sort into these, is first for images, I press insert, picture, and I took pictures from Google Image and just saved them right onto my desktop. That's the easiest way for me to do it. And we'll do a Matisse this time. So you click that, make sure to shrink them down enough so that they fit on the page well. And then I want to embed sound in them, so you're going to click insert sound. And I took sound from a website and just saved it onto my desktop. And then you click attach sound. Make sure it's on the corner icon. If you have it clicked on object, then it's going to immediately go off every time you click that, and you don't want that to happen. So attach sound. I got my sound effects from this website, FreeSFX. You need to make sure the website you use for your sound effects is all MP3, because Smart Notebook will not take anything other than MP3. And then I'll go back over here. So now you have this with embedded noise. And for text, again, you just click text. Let's do quick cubism. I just want it italicized so you can tell that it's different from the things above, and I'm just going to shrink that down. And then you do the same thing. Insert sound. You have to be clicking select though, so click select, insert sound. And I just chose a really short sound. I think some of those longer sounds just get a little too distracting. So there we go. We have our images, text, but with sound, and I'll just click down here where I have it already done. So I have all of my images now and all of my text, and they are all embedded with sound, and now I'm ready to actually start making the activity. So I'm going to do that by clicking on one of my boxes. I'll just click on this one for now, and then you click on this puzzle piece to the side, which is your activity builder. Alright, and how to do this is you click this, and you're going to click edit, and when you do that, alright, you're going to get these two boxes, and the accept box means anything you drag into that is going to ding and then fade into that box, whereas anything you reject is just going to bounce back. So this one is a Matisse painting, so I'm going to drag that over there. There we go. Oh, maybe it's just being slow. There we go. Okay. And we'll drag that over there, and then I have the alright, and then you don't actually have to drag all of the other ones to the reject, you just say add all remaining. It will add the different boxes, like the Pablo Picasso and Joan Miró box, which isn't necessary, but it is not a big deal. And then you can click on settings. I'll take us over there in just a moment. And then I want it to fade out. Some of the other ones are kind of fun, like spin. It actually literally spins right there, but then it doesn't go behind the box, it stays in front. So I want it to go behind, so I'm going to click fade out. And I also want it to play noise when I go. And then I want it to bounce back. And then you click done. Oh, it's done. And now you can do that for each of these, and so you match them with what you want, and then it'll automatically have that thing done for you. So now when you move over your pieces, it'll ding, fade in, and if it's the wrong one, it bounces right back. And you can do this until you're all the way cleared, but then when you want to be done again, you click on the puzzle piece and reset, and it goes right back. So I just think this is a really nice way to assess your students. It's a fun game, and it's just a really interesting and easy to build lesson. So this is my second tutorial, and this one's a very simple lesson, and it's a kind of almost like a hide and seek activity where I ask a riddle or question, and then my students will actually erase the board using the eraser tool, which if you have a computer, you can just use the computer icon, otherwise it'll be the eraser that's on the smartboard, and they just erase this to reveal the answer. So it's kind of fun, and I also added in an element so that when you click the select and you select the image, it actually takes you to a website that shows the complete works of the artist I'm talking about. I'm again referencing my 5th grade art class, and right now we're talking about Impressionist artists. So I wanted to share about Claude Monet. If I were making this for my class, I would make many, many of these, probably 10 for a lesson, and we could go through the different artists in this way. And it's just kind of a fun activity, and I found it on the Smart Exchange right here. I am using Smart Notebook 11, so when I was trying to download it, it just wasn't working, so I just had to do it by scratch, which is fine, does not take very long. So I'm going to go through how to make this lesson, and again, I would definitely recommend, since this activity probably wouldn't take that long, I would ask the question, listen to some answers, and then let one of the students erase it. I would probably make many of these and then have them together. And this one is pretty simple to make, but the order is important, so you have to make sure to make each part in the right order. So I'm going to click a new page. I'm just going to leave the background white for now. And I'm going to start by inserting the image. And I'm going to insert picture. And again, I went to Google, found my image, and saved it to my desktop to make it very easy. And there he is. So I'm going to click this. And when this comes up, that means that if you don't change it, that it's going to be really big and it's going to take a long time to minimize to where you want it. So I definitely recommend clicking optimize. It's already really huge, so you can imagine where it would be if it was bigger. And we're going to drag it up. Clicking the right button. One of the bad things about Smart Notebook is that you can only minimize an image by going to this bottom corner, which is a little annoying, but it is definitely doable. So I'm going to make that smaller, and then there we go. I'm ready. And I want to embed this image with the link that I just showed you. So you're going to go, just like we did with sound in the last tutorial, you're going to go to Insert, Link, and this time I'm going to go over here, find the website I want it to pop up to, copy the URL, and I simply go in here, paste the URL in, and I want to click object because I want them to just be able to click anywhere on the object for it to go. Press OK, and voila, you now have a linked object. So whenever I click it, it goes right there. So that eliminates the time to find the website. It just makes it really quick, and it's just heightens the fun of finding the object down below, and then that object even leads to something else. So I just think it's kind of fun. I also want to label it just since that just makes it easy. So I'm going to write Claude Monet. And make sure to match the text color to what is going to be best for the background. This one's a gray background, so I'm going to go with white. I'm going to move that to the center, make it a little bigger, move it to the center, and we are ready for the next layer. I might actually group these like I did previously, so again you hit select, draw a square, let me try again, draw a square, and then Control G. Now everything is linked. So you click on that and it'll go right there. Alright, and my next step is to click the pens, and you can, if you're using a computer, you can click on the pen right here, or if you're using your smartboard, you can just grab one of the pens, and I'm going to change the color to light blue, and I'm going to change the thickness to really thick, and I'm just going to let out all my inks and cover the whole thing. Alright, and now that I've covered the whole board, I am going to now add my next text layer, which is the question. So you just click text, click there, and I'm just going to keep it black, Arial, keep it very simple. I could do a crazy font, but I just want it to be very simple, straightforward to read. And he is a French impressionist painter who loved painting water. And again, spell check is great for me. And you'll notice that on Smart Notebook, the page extends down a lot. I'll click I to keep it grammatically correct. You'll notice that it extends down a lot. I just like to fit it to my frame so they don't have to scroll up and down. So for now, I'm just using the computer screen that's showing, but you can edit it to fit your smartboard or whatever you are using. I just like to ignore the rest of the screen. So we'll keep it like that. I'm going to make this just a tidge smaller so that when we look at my image. It doesn't look too big. Oh, not 20. Let's go to 36. We're going to 36. Right, and I'm going to move that down to the bottom. Alright, and so now we're pretty much done. So the next step that you would do is just have your students come up, ask the question, listen to their answers, and then when you're ready, select a student. And I'm sure it will be a great honor to click the eraser tool. If you can, click the biggest one, it just makes it go a little easier. And then you're going to erase, and there you go. And then you can just click the select tool when you're ready, and you can click it, and you go to your gallery. So this is a very nice, simple lesson, and you could tailor this to anything where you ask a question, the answer is below. You can include the link if you need. I really wanted to, but if you don't want to, that is alright. So this is just a really nice lesson. So this is my final tutorial, and this one is on attendance, way to take attendance. And I got this idea from a YouTube video I found where she had the names actually fly out like that. And then I also got the idea from this, and I just decided to make my own, so I can go through the steps now. But basically what happens is when the students get to class, they see their names up on the board, and I decided to use Van Gogh Starry Night as the background, so that was kind of fun to have airplanes flying out. So they have their names on the board, so when they see their name, they come up, click it. So say Jessie comes to the classroom, sees her name on the board, she can come right up, click it, and it flies out. And then say John comes next, you can click his name, it flies out. Same with Kim, Mary, Ahmed, Emily, and then maybe Laura and Lee are absent that day, so they will stay behind. So it's a really easy way to quick take attendance, and it's kind of fun for the kids. So I am going to do a quick tutorial on how to do this. So we're going to start with a blank page, and the first thing I'm going to do is set the background. And I actually followed the background under Arts rather than clicking on Background Theme. So you can find this one specifically by going to Arts, Art, Pictures, and then it is Starry Night. I'm going to double click that. I'm just going to extend that so that it fills my page, like so. And now that I have that, I am going to lock it in place. You want to click this, lock in place. That way now when you add stuff on top, you won't be dragging that image around. If you wanted, you can use background themes, you can use other images. This is just what I decided to do, but there's so many different things. On the background themes, there's different holidays, papers, simple things, so it's kind of fun to play around with. I just decided to use this. And my next step is to start making the airplanes with my names on it. And I'm going to pretend that I have 8 students in my class for now. I'm going to open Gallery Essentials, and there are all sorts of images throughout this. I think a good place to start that has a lot of fun things is in People and Culture, and you can click on Pictures, and there's all these fun different things. But there's also tons of images through everything else, so if you wanted to look through and just explore on your own, you can do that. I mean, there's holiday ones, people, there's all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to start by using an airplane, because I thought that just went well with my theme. And I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to make that smaller, which is about where I would probably have it. And now I'm going to click it, Control C to copy. I'm going to paste it 7 more times. And move those around. 2. And now I have 8 airplanes, one for each of my students. And now comes the tricky part, because now you have to label it, and labeling it does take a little bit of time. So I'm going to start by making a rectangle, and I want to set the colors to white. So we're going to use 2 white colors. I'm going to make a quick rectangle about that size. And I'm going to, again, make 8 copies. So for this, Control C, and then I'm just going to press Control B until I have enough. Oh no, I did the airplane again. Alright, there we go. Alright, so let me quick delete those guys. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna be extra careful so let's select that. Right, Control C. I'll just copy to be safe. And then Control V, and we're going to hit that. And we want one white square underneath each airplane. So, I mean, this is just a little bit of a tedious process, but it's not too bad. And then one more. And now I'm going to open the text. And I'm going to click here. I just want simple plain text in black. And I'm actually going to set this to 18 for now, because that's about a good size. And we'll start by labeling the name. So we'll start with John, per se. So you're going to click this, drag it over, and there, you've got one airplane ready. And I'm just, for time's sake, I already made this one where I just did exactly what we did. I changed the font to something a little more fun. This is called MV Bully, and then I put them all in italicized, and I just finished doing the same process I just did to put all the names down. So now I have my white squares, my names, and my airplanes. So I have each of my students listed. The next step is to group them. So I'm going to click the select button and make a square up like that. Make sure to start from the bottom and go up so that you group them in the right order. Because if you group them from top down, I've noticed that the airplane goes to the front and then the white square goes next and then the writing is actually behind. And we don't want that. So I'm going to do that. Then Control G. And so I'm going to quick do that for each of my airplanes. And make sure that you have all three. Oops. Undo. Make sure that you have all three selected. Because if you don't, then you will be leaving one behind once we finish the animation, like when they fly around. So we're going to do that. Alright, I just have 4 more. Pretty simple. Alright, one more. And Laura. And now we are good. Alright. And now I'm going to start setting the animation. So the easiest way I found is to take the select button, just highlight all of them, and then you're going to go over here to the fonts. Usually, like when you're writing, it's where you change the color, you see the big A, but you can also change images. So we're going to go to Object Animation, and we want them to fly out like airplanes. And I'm going to choose the left since that's the way that they're facing. I actually might choose top left. It's more fun. And I want it to be when object clicks. You can also do when the page is entered for different activities, but for this you want it to be clicked so that when they come in they can click it and it flies out. And I'm going to have the speed slower. And I like that they get smaller too. And I don't want any repeats, I just want them to click it once and it goes. And yeah, so now it is already set and you are ready to go. You can minimize your little thing and you're ready to go. So you can then have your students come in, they just click their name, it flies out. So it's a really great, easy way to take attendance really quickly. And I just wanted to quick recap and talk about the different features I used in each of mine. I used text, obviously, like the names here, and in my first one, I had the names of the different movements and the headers during the matching one. And then in the second one, where I did the riddle one, I have text there. I also have images with the art, the pictures of the people. I have sound with the sound effects in the first one. I didn't really want to include sound effects in the other one just because I thought that was enough. And then I also have the URL link so that it links to a page that we wanted to look at. And I also finally have my own feature, which I decided to use animation, which I use for these objects. And I also use, I don't know if this counts as a feature, but I also use the interaction of wiping using the smartboard features like the pen and the eraser to wipe it away so the students can interact with it too. So this concludes my tutorial. Thank you very much for watching.